Greetings, this is Vane and welcome back to Let's Play Baldur's Gate, the original Saga. Now, I don't think I ever finished. Talking about why I have big pauses on the front of my Let's Plays. Well, basically, I have a 5-second intro and a 5-second outro, which I find is just sort of enough to allow me to use ending cards. And if I get round to it, putting in designing a sort of introductory screen, if I wanted to, before the action starts going. I've never actually got round to that though, but yeah, that's how it started.
It is done.
It also turned out it helps because it allows me to focus my thoughts on what I'm going to be doing as I remind myself where I am. And it helps me with my social anxiety to a certain extent, because I'm not all that comfortable with my own voice. Many different reasons, but most of them is that it's my dyslexia, which is because it's actually based on working memory.
It is done.
So multitasking really, and therefore impacts like the quality of me when I speak, as opposed to being able to write and stuff like that. And I've learned to compensate for that, but I still stumble over my words and things, so hence all the pauses, because quite often what happens, I lose track of what I'm thinking of while speaking. Which is annoying to say the least. But what can you do, eh? What can you do? Still. No, can't do you. I need to go. I'll have to go to the temple to do that. Okay. It's great, isn't it? Guess I know where we're going. But yeah. And we will sell you as well. Okay. We've got you. We need 3 sets of arrows. You've already got your 2-handed sword. Okay, so I can sell you. While we're at it, we'll take down and see if you want any of this jewellery. Probably won't, but we might as well. 'Cause you never know. No, you don't buy the jewellery. Okay. That is a shame. But we will go to the shield, we will go to the temple and identify that, and then come back, but not before. Basically, round about now, you will want to kind of have magic weapons for most of your party. In most cases, it doesn't matter as long as it's a +1 or more, so as long as it's something. Just so that you can hit the creatures that need magic weapons. Good, 30 posts in. Just keep them there for now.
It is done.
What do you have to offer? Let's sell jewellery. Sell yachts. Sell that. That. Sell those two. Couple of gold rings, that's not bad. Angel skin rings, not bad. Fire opal ring, that is excellent. I think, yeah, you've got. Ugh. Sure, why not? Let's have a look what we got here. Battle axe, don't need a battle axe. And you've got a longsword, so a battle axe isn't exactly brilliant. A composite longbow, now that is interesting. Wouldn't mind a composite longbow. I mean, that's a medium shield pass, and that's a bastard sword +1. But I think we will go with the composite longbow. If I buy that, I am going to have just enough to. Yeah, it's alright. And I am going to give you, it sounds stupid, I am going to give that you to Khalid. Simply because that way I can focus on long swords with long bows, while you can actually focus on bows. But yeah, that's pretty cool actually.
Indeed.
Actually, we'll come down here and do it this way. Because we're not really. I mean, no time passes.
It is done.
When we come to the temple.
Certainly.
What kind of aid can you give us? Let's have a look. Standard. But if I go. No, you can't identify. Ah, you've identified it. You already know what it is. Oh well, even better. I didn't even realise you'd identified it. Well, that was a waste of time, though, wasn't it? Luckily, it don't take. It's only actual time as opposed to proper game time it takes to get here.
Certainly.
And I probably saved that walking across town, so yeah, not bad. I'll have to remember that. I think you didn't realise your lore was that high. Yeah, where is your lore? 22. So yeah, fair enough.
Certainly.
Let's get you walking over here. I know it can be quite a bit slow because it's taken us 10 minutes out of what's normally a 30 to 45 minute episode, and we've not even left for the new area yet. That's why I use approximations for my episode length. I try not to go over an hour if I can help it, simply because it's hard to retain tension, to people's attention for that length of time. Which is also why I tend to put the boring stuff, if I can, at the end of an episode as opposed to the beginning. But sometimes that's not always the case, as in this one.
Certainly.
Okay, so let's sell you, because no one's going to use it. No one can use it. So yeah. Medium shield +1, there you go. Now we need 3 sets of arrows. See, what do you need? You need 2 sets of arrows.
I can make whatever you wish for a wee little bit more than me competition.
You need 2 sets of arrows.
I can make whatever you wish for a wee little bit more than me competition.
I like that, turning capitalism on its head. A wee little bit more, but I can make whatever the hell you want. Yeah. Okay. So.
I can make whatever you wish for a wee little bit more than me competition.
Two sets of bullets. You're alright actually, that saves you from that one because I built that up, even though it doesn't give us much in the way of a safety net. And since how quickly we're going through them, well, sort of quickly, I think I'll let you have one of them. And I'll give you one of these bullets. And we'll look down here. We've got a light crossbow of speed. Not that... Well, you can use that, I guess. I mean, if I wanted to, she does have bows, so it's not probably not going to do like a crossbow speed at all. Which is a shame, really. They're good. Shadow plate's pretty nice. Full plate mail is equivalent to Ankeg armor, I think. Yeah, Ankeg plate mail. But I believe it doesn't have the... yeah, I believe it doesn't have the issue where it conflicts with magic items. So I could get an even lower armor class. Anyway, 15 minutes later and we're ready to go.
Indeed.
And we're going to head off this side. Hello. Just because it's easier.
Gorion would be proud of your actions.
I mean, it's not a total waste of time to come down here and do this. Because if we get bandits, which is normally the case,
Certainly.
then we often get bandit scalps. And as you know, we're currently sending bandit scalps to Officer Vane. And she will pretty much stay around for the whole chapter, I believe. I think she stays around until you no longer have any bandit scalps to sell. So there's no point going to her if you don't have any bandit scalps. So, but once you've dealt with the bandit camp, you normally stop getting too many bandit scalps anyway. So.
It is done.
I mean, although the game
Whatever they need.
really opens up
Nature's
well, it's not that it
servant
opens up, that's not quite the right word, that's not the word I... Basically,
Indeed.
it's around chapter 3 when you become survivable enough that you can explore most of the wilderness. So the game sort of opens up. If you're willing to take the time to do it, you can do it in chapter 1. Especially if you already know what party members you want and where to go for them. Then you just sort of do that and not bother about it. And if you need to get the levels to level up for some of the harsher areas, there's a couple of farming places that you can go to. So yeah. I mean, it can be tough to start, but once you get on a roll, farming when you've got your team, just kind of, you find a good area and just do it if that's what you want to do. It's not like there's an endless cap, so by farming what you're really doing is lessening the amount of experience that you get from the end of the game, if that makes sense. Because if you've capped out and you're still in the first chapter, and that's what happens if you capped out and you're still at the first
Indeed.
chapter, you don't gain any more experience. Everyone else who hasn't capped out still gains more experience. And if you're literally picking up every one that you need, then you get through a lot of experience. You can get through a lot of experience. So the other characters are leveling up, even if your character's maxed out, because there's more than enough NPCs. And I think one of the challenges is basically for this game is to try and basically play with a party that's every single NPC. So you have to take them out at least once. Which means doing whatever quest if they've got one. Will you now? I mean, it's interesting to say the least, playing it that way. But the changes for doing that are minimal. I think the biggest difference is normally more down to what you don't need, depending on what your character is. I'm building a... For example, if you're a thief, you don't need to take ammo in at all. And in fact, many people... A few people actually play thieves simply because you get ammo in right at the beginning of the game. Another one is cleric, because if you're playing good, you get powers which basically do everything that you'd want a cleric to do. Okay.
Certainly.
You know, so out of the 4 main classes, you're literally going with either the common two are either fighter or a mage, or unless you're going multi-class. Because it turns out that there isn't a single-classed mage. All the single-class mages are specialists for NPCs. So they are different because they all have like different combinations of opposition skills which change the tactics. So if
My blade will cut you down to size.
So, and the only mages are all multi-class. So there tends to be that one there.
I think much clearer with rest.
Okay, so
My heart's really hot.
Just about seen enough waking hours, slave driver.
yep. I think that's all of it for... No, we've still got some more gnolls. Okay. Gnoll chieftain.
Fresh. Never a bad case of...
Okay.
Magic does not nest well in a tired mind. Oh,
I'm getting a little sleepy.
We will kill these gnolls and then we will rest.
I grow weary.
Oh, my heart's really not in this.
I mean, if you really want a tougher game... Well, I say a tougher game. If you really want an interesting game... then playing an elf or half elf with in a free class combo is actually quite unique. You get most of the abilities, so you are basically a generalist. So need doesn't become too bad, but your rate of experience is so slow, and you'll not have the power of any of the special because of the cap. Because you're basically getting 1/3 of the experience that the other classes would get. but it can be interesting to play. It will take you a long time to level up. So it's something that you need to be prepared for if you're going to play that way. I mean, so yeah, I mean, if I was playing a mage, for example, I wouldn't necessarily need to have Zar, Monteron down here, so I could pick up Garrick. I might pick up Kivin as another example. You know, if I was neutral, then Kagan's a fairly good option. You know, so, or even evil. You know, these sort of things can make for interesting party decisions on that regard. Rested for 8 hours, eh?
Go Ryan with the clouds,
As you direct.
So, and then you get to play with all sorts of interactions and different quests and
It is done.
who knows what. But that's half the fun, isn't it? I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, the downside is because this game is so long and there's so much filler, the chances of you replaying it unless you've got a favourite character are very, very slim. Because a lot of things don't change based on your class.
I always am.
So it's still the same story. You're still working at getting a decent party, but and a lot of the set encounters are the same. Yes, the random stuff won't be, but a lot of the set encounters are exactly the same. So, and as for the secret, it's like, well, the reason that they hid a ring of wizardry is not only because it promotes mage, because if you're a mage it's harder to survive on your own and you really need more spells if that's all you've got, but you get different mileage if your character is using a ring of wizardry, especially as a mage where you only get one spell at first level, so doubling that is immensely beneficial. Compared to, say, giving it to Zar, Edwin or Dioneer. I mean, you still go through the same storyline. In fact, you go for the same storyline whether you're good or evil. It's just managing your reputation kind of changes how you would react to things in many ways, different types. So if you're evil, with i.e. got low reputation, you want to keep it low. You've got to balance keeping it low without necessarily being murder hobos, as the phrase go, because if you get too evil you just get attacked. You can't use shops, anything like that. And you pretty much end up, every time you go onto a square, you get a group of guards coming and trying to come and kill you straight away. So you've got to do some sort of balancing of your reputation. Preferably without becoming psychotic. Okay, well, it's 1:30. Well, I say 1:30. It's not half. It's not half. It's been half hour. See, mine site nearby, eh? It's interesting. So it's been half hour, so I will look towards finishing it. But because we only had 15 minutes, I am going to probably explore the outside like I normally do. That's a good divisor. Do the outside, then do the middle. And then depending on where we are, there might be a third one to do the interiors, like with the mine, for example. Dungeons generally mean doing another episode for stuff inside, fortunately. But I mean, aside from the story dungeons, there's only one other multi-level dungeon that I know of in the game, and that is Durlag's Tower, which was added with the expansion. Dungeons I mentioned. Stay here. Don't antagonise the bear. The bear hasn't done anything to you. The bear's done something to you. Okay. Now, sorry bear, you die.
None of that.
Go for the eyes, Boo! Go!
I know. It's your own fault. It is totally your own fault. You brought it on yourself there, mate. And while we're thinking about
Certainly.
not trying to antagonise bears, let's move away from that one. For now. Look, if you're going to come near me and attack, then I will kill you. I don't mind. Give you one more. That should. Shouldn't need too much. Well, I can probably heal you. Oh yeah, I'll use a lot and heal you up, I think. While we're doing it. This is probably low.
Yes, oh omnipresent authority figure.
Uh-huh. Really?
Full plate and packing steel.
I did warn you. Oh, that was a waste. Didn't want to cast it on you. That was a misclick. Damn those misclicks. Still.
Can I help you?
Well, if I'm going to do a misclick like that, I might as well heal you. Put your healing potion back. Save the game. And rest. There you go. And then I get to goodberry you. Yeah.
I am
Do it that way. We're fully healed. It don't matter, and it's mid-morning, so you get to see some more gorgeous scenery for a while, anyway. So yeah, I mean, there are a couple of optional dungeons that you can explore, but they're only single-level affairs.
Right. Your concern?
So
Certainly.
maybe they thought a dungeon experience was too hard for what they were trying to do with this.
Go for the eyes! Rusk!
I can sort of understand why.
Oh, I'm really not in this.
Because the whole principle of Baldur's Gate, which makes it so fascinating, is that it's essentially a real-time strategy game combined with a computer role-playing game, most of which were turn-based at that point. And Command and Conquer just come out and was basically was giving birth to and expanding the RTS genre. So pretty much RTS controls was coming into thing as something that could be done. But obviously you need maps to do RTS games, because it's all about tactics in battle and stuff like that. And if you can't do that with a party, then what's the point? You know, you'd already had plenty of games from the SSI era that used the D20 system, that used they used AD&D.
My blade will cut you down to
So the fact that this used AD&D wasn't anything spectacular. It was that he used the AD&D system like this, rather than using turns, which the system used. So
Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes! Rusk!
because at the time most RPGs that weren't turn-based were first-person perspective, as defined by like say Elder Scrolls series. And those were pretty much your two choices. I mean, it's not fair to say that this was the first ever kind of RTS role-playing game using the AD&D system, because that's not strictly true. There was, for example, with some of the SSI classics, I believe that some of the Dark Sun games were also kind of RTS likes, but they didn't have the graphics or the control like this. If that makes sense. You could still move around and do stuff, but it was keyboard as opposed to mouse control. because in the areas that they were out, you had the home computer, most of which didn't even but have a mouse when they were designed. So, let's explore around. Is that crack? Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look. I'm gonna save it here, actually, and then we'll finish off exploring this episode, exploring this area in the next episode. So this has been Vane, waffling on while playing Let's Play Baldur's Gate. If you like what you see in here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider supporting my channel on Patreon, where you can suggest games for me to play. If there's anything you particularly want me to consider replaying, for example, like if you've enjoyed this series and you want me to try with a mage, you can. Anything like that, really. Just let me know. Because I'm not putting content behind a paywall. I have no intention of doing so. It helps me out. And because I don't really have an income that isn't basically UK benefits at the moment. I never have. So it's given me a lot of time to play games and understand games, but I've never been able to make a proper living out of games.
Thy decency is refreshing.
So
many we meet are...
And this, I hopefully will develop into something that, as I get back into it, will be that I can maintain and help other people while carrying on my own passion for gaming. So, yeah, I've set it at £1 a month because that's the minimum for Patreon. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather have, say, 1,000 people each paying £1 to help me than a whole bunch of people paying £5, £10, £15 and then not getting any, because £1 is easy enough to miss. And in times like this, you have to be really dedicated to be able to go, I'm going to spend £5 every month on this. So, yeah, it is important to me, but likewise, if you don't do Patreon, then in a way it's literally just one less pound. So if you're not doing it and it means maybe another 99 people are, then that's still almost £100 anyway, as far as I'm concerned. So, and that is my general approach to Patreon. I'm not particularly good. I'm not going to take time out doing a lot of social media stuff unless you really want to. I mean, if you start requesting it, then I might do that.
Long periods of relaxation.
But to be honest, for me, when it comes to Let's Playing, it's about the games, and I want the games to speak for themselves. And when they don't, or can't, or it's a break like this, then basically I'm going to speak for them, because such is my passion. Anyway, so until the next time, goodbye.